Hey, so I just wanted to kind of give some information about my conditions and compare it to something that most people have probably heard of. So my conditions, the symptoms of them most commonly relate to that of the symptoms of multiple sclerosis. So some numbers that I found on Dr. Google say that in the United States, nearly 1 million people have been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And then for comparison purposes, also in the United States, about 1 million people have also been diagnosed with a Chiari malformation. So it's not that uncommon anymore for people to be found to have a Chiari malformation, apparently. With Syringomyelia in the United States, it's less than 50,000 people have been diagnosed with Syringomyelia. So it's about 8 out of 100,000 people diagnosed with Syringomyelia. So all these conditions are different. Syringomyelia is not the same thing as Chiari, and neither of those things, even though the symptoms correspond, neither of those things are the same thing as multiple sclerosis. But just so that people can kind of understand, the symptoms do overlap for those conditions. So for multiple sclerosis, Google has had a long list of symptoms for that condition. Now for Chiari even, or Syringomyelia, there wasn't as many symptoms listed. So I will kind of read off what Google has as symptoms, and then I'll read off what symptoms I personally have that Google might have left out. But for multiple sclerosis, what it says on there, I don't have multiple sclerosis, but here are the symptoms that it says fits for multiple sclerosis. Pain in the back or eyes, tremors, muscular symptoms, cramping, difficulty walking, inability to rapidly change motions, involuntary movements, muscle paralysis, muscle rigidity, muscle weakness, problems with coordination, stiff muscles, clumsiness, spasms, overactive reflexes. In the whole body, there is fatigue, dizziness, heat intolerance, poor balance, vertigo, sensory issues like pins and needles, reduced sensation of touch, tingling or burning sensations, urinary issues such as excessive urination at night, leaking urine or urinary retention. Visual symptoms would be blurred vision, double vision, vision loss, sexual symptoms like sexual dysfunction, mood things like anxiety or mood swings, speech issues with like difficulty speaking or slurred speech. Also common among people with multiple sclerosis, it says, is constipation, depression, difficulty swallowing, difficulty thinking and understanding, flare, I don't know what that means, headache, heavy legs, numbness of face, rapid involuntary eye movement, sleep deprivation, tongue numbness, weakness, and difficulty raising the foot. There's a lot of things listed for multiple sclerosis patients. Now, what Google listed as symptoms of Chiari, some people may have no symptoms of Chiari malformation, but some people may experience pain in their neck, muscular symptoms such as muscle weakness, problems with coordination, stiff muscles or overactive reflexes, sensory issues such as pins and needles, reduced sensation of touch or tingling and burning, visual symptoms like blurred, double, or sensitivity to light. Also common are difficulty swallowing, headache, nausea, rapid involuntary eye movement, ringing in ears, vertigo, impaired voice. So That's all it listed for Chiari. Much shorter list than multiple sclerosis, but just as common as multiple sclerosis. There's, in the United States, it said roughly 1 million people with a Chiari malformation and 1 million people with multiple sclerosis. So it's interesting. And then Dr. Google says symptoms of syringomyelia are muscle weakness or wasting, loss of reflexes, loss of sensitivity to pain and temperature, headaches, stiffness in the back, shoulders, arms, and legs, pain in the neck, arms, and back. It can progress and cause scoliosis, chronic pain from damaged spinal cord, motor difficulties that can affect walking, like weakness and stiffness in leg muscles, paralysis, and if it grows into your brainstem, it becomes a medical emergency due to the brainstem controlling vital functions like your heart and breathing. That part Google left out, but if you do any research on syringomyelia and on how what syringobulbia is, that's really important for anybody with syringomyelia to know and understand, because it is a very rare condition. It's really important for you to understand, you having a rare condition, to know the things that you need to look out for, because if you go to a local emergency room, they're not gonna know. I've literally, me and my husband have went to the ER and literally had the ER doctor ask me about my condition and then have to go and Google it because he just had never seen it. And he was thankfully honest about that, right? And humble about it. But you're not always going to find doctors who are humble about it. They'll Google it and say the first things that come up, and sometimes the first things that come up on Google aren't right. You have to do research into legitimate research studies. So you need to be able to decipher between something that just anyone can say and then something that was actually like a medical report and reported on. So, but anyways, I added that because it is important, I think, for people to know that it is, if your syrinx is growing, it's important for you to pay attention to the symptoms of what syringobulbia would be, and you need to realize that that is a medical emergency. So if you go to an ER and they say, okay, you have syringobulbia, no big deal, it is a big deal, and you need to seek out a specialist that literally just deals with patients with syringomyelia, and they would get you in an emergent fashion and help you. So anyways, as far as my symptoms, I have pain, right? So did you ever know that there are tons of different types of pains? Because I learned that there are with this condition. So there's stabbing, aching, burning, throbbing, and jolts of pain. I have all of them, but in different parts of my body and at different times of the day, depending on what I'm doing. Also, the different locations for the pain would be pretty much everywhere. Like I kind of explained, it's headaches, just in general, like my entire head. But then there's a different type of aching that I get in the back of my head, behind my ears and on my neck. Upper back pain, middle and lower back pain as well. It comes on at different times. I have joint pain that is especially bad in my knees and ankles. At times I have muscle pain everywhere, but mostly in my back, muscle tightness. The muscle weakness in my arms and legs, like it causes me to have to walk funny sometimes. I drop things a lot. It'll just fall out of my hands. I drop my phone, I'll drop anything. If it's in my hands, I'm gonna probably drop it at some point. Difficulty thinking on the spot. It's just like, I have a paper in front of me because I would be rambling trying to remember everything I want to say. Numbness and tingling everywhere, but this happens randomly. It's not constantly or all the time. Burning pain that is mostly spreads across my upper back and on my shoulders all the way down to like my elbows. Ringing in my ears, sensitivity to light and sound, and I choke on my spit frequently. And I am probably forgetting some things. I do have blurry vision sometimes, which was also listed in MS for multiple sclerosis patients, but not for Syringomyelia patients. I have anxiety, but I think having certain things, sometimes it would probably be weird if you didn't feel anxious sometimes. So I don't know. And then I don't really have fatigue very much. My problem is my body wants to do all the things. It wants to be productive, but my body starts hurting so bad, I can't. I have to rest. I have to lay down. I have to rest it. Even just sitting up. If I sit up, like sit in a chair for a couple hours or have to go for a long drive, I literally have to go lay down. That exhausts my body. It doesn't make my body tired. It causes my body a lot of pain. So the pain I mostly can keep at a manageable level, but doing certain things causes that manageable pain level that I'm always in to rise. And so then I have to take breaks, not because I'm tired and I just want to lay down, but because I have to, because of the pain. But also there is listed with MS urinary issues, which was not listed with Syringomyelia, which is a well-known problem for Syringomyelia patients, but it wasn't listed on Google. I don't have anything but like the retention. I do retain fluids, and this, I believe, is what. Also the slurred speech at times, or messed up speech, muscle rigidity, clumsiness, poor balance, heat intolerance, all those things. Tremors is listed for MS, but is also experienced by me and many other people with Syringomyelia. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting, and I thought that sharing kind of like a condition that is maybe more well known and how it relates to the conditions I have, and how the conditions I have are different. They're not the same thing, even though I have both, and kind of like what my experience with all of them is. So I hope this is helpful, and I hope somebody else struggling with these things finds it interesting too. Thanks.